Дорогие друзья, добрый день.
Dear friends, good evening. We are happy to see you all and welcome you on our new seminar on an online study class of the Secret Doctrine by HPB. And today is our first class in March 2023. Of course, this is a great period because the spring is coming, and spring isn't just an important period for people as you get to see more sun, more warmth. But spring is also a new beginning. It's time when we reach a new important step in our studies. Because today we are starting to study the third stanza, Dhyana. The importance of this stanza has been mentioned beforehand during the whole 3 years we've been having these seminars. This has the foundation, the basis, the key point in the Secret Doctrine, as it has all the potential powers of unmanifested universe, and it gives an impulse to manifestation of the universe. Of course, it has a great mystery, and the third stanza has 12 shlokas. During our today's class, we are going to talk mainly about the first shloka of third stanza, and I hope you will be able to work through the key points of this shloka that we have gathered all together for you, our listeners and participants of the conference. We hope that you will be able to expand your knowledge or maybe to gain your understanding of a new concept. As you always mention in the comments and our personal messages and even letters and our social media groups, you always mention that this system given through a certain understanding of the study of the Secret Doctrine, meaning a symbolic entry, because symbolism gives you an understanding of something you cannot even form into words, an understanding of unspoken things, and it's essential that this point, when you have a clear mind, when it has an impulse, a vibration, and it touches our consciousness, it can open a new understanding that you couldn't have before because of a minuscule obstacle. And interestingly, the Secret Doctrine helps you to overcome these obstacles and to see these minuscule details. But sometimes it takes time to see them. And when we come along these studies again, we are able to find new things. That's why all stanzas are important, because everybody understands things differently. And you all will be able to find something new during your studies. And HPB herself said that she doesn't know how many new discoveries will be made in the future when the Secret Doctrine will be open to public in science, technology, culture, in all domains. Because a consciousness that is oriented towards light can change the world around them and understand how the world works fundamentally. And this power of unity, the power of union between the universe and humans, and of course all philosophical and religious movements think about the human thought to understand this great unity, this great connection from all the different aspects. But if you see the essence of thought, it doesn't matter to whatever kind of science it belongs to. We get the understanding and we see the symbolism of this idea. Of course, the Secret Doctrine is written in great symbols that open themselves to us with the energy of the new era, the new century. They all are in connection with the material world and the world of ideas, and it makes your consciousness change even without your will, because some things happen themselves. Sometimes you understand things suddenly when you look at other people or when you encounter different occasions, and you will always feel that some kind of secret is being relieved to them. And the secrets of the universe, the impulses of the universe, touch every human consciousness, because we all are a single living organism, really. It's great that we have colleagues, our international audience present on this seminar, and of course, people from other Russian cities. We know the importance of this occasion when we are detached from our numerous duties and we find time, a couple of hours to dedicate to new ideas and to clear our mind. Interestingly, the study of the Secret Doctrine helps you get a touch of a higher mind, even unconsciously. You are getting ready to better yourself. Your mind becomes clearer just from the thought that you're going to touch the sacred study. And it takes to have a new vibration, a new approach, to trust and to be oriented toward this unity, to have happy, trustworthy emotions. When you open your heart to the study, the great movement begins, and it attracts like a magnet and sheds light even at the darkest corners of your mind and the world even. And if you understand that despite the fact that each consciousness is a single impulse given by the universe, and your breath, how you breathe in these ideas, they are clear, they are very benevolent towards other people, they inspire patience, they are so beautiful. As soon as your heart and your soul opened to this beauty, because what can be more pretty, more beautiful than the structure of the universe and the energy of light is revealed to you, and the reflection of this light in the numerous parts of the thin world reflected in each consciousness and of course in each of the shlokas of the Secret Doctrine. I congratulate you with the beginning of the study of the first stanza, Shloka 1 of Secret Doctrine of HPB. And now I give the floor to Vladimir Yary, psychologist and the head of the School of Theosophy. He will talk about today's energy and give his ideas about the new shloka. So be ready with your questions. Don't forget that we have an open chat in Zoom. It's called Questions and Answers. At the end of our seminar, we'll give a conclusion and then answer your questions. Hello, everybody. So we're going to begin with the thought of the day, the Pearl of the East. So today, the truth shines brighter than the sun. It's a sunny day of reason, and falsehood is the mind's dark night. Now this thought of the day and the first stanza, the first shloka, they all tell us about their revealed illusions that have a reflection innate. So let's look at the combination that makes our day. So the focus of today is the black rooster, is focused on the black rooster. So the black rooster is in the constellation of the Taurus, which means that this is the revealed second stanza gem. And in this stanza, we have those characteristics or unreasonable reasons that will reflect by the first logos, and this first logos is in the black rooster. The black rooster shows us the primordial chaos, and the thought of the day tells us about falsehood, lies, that is the mind's dark night. So imagine that the first impulse of anything leads to a mirror's reflection, and here we have the reason of the veil. All veils will be revealed later, but here we have the unreasonable reason of these veils, founded by this logos, by this impulse. And this impulse is affected by the ray of Saturn, green color. As you can see, it signifies the synthetic nature, and Saturn is a symbol of the law of karma, or the law of laws. And this law of laws gives us a full impulse, so that the scientific form, or may I say this formless form, its potential, according to this logos, will be its vibration as a metric that will help it show all the reflections in one. Thus, all of these reflections are united. And this unity of all is the primordial thought that will be revealed in the cycle of Manvantara, of the principles of the universe. So today we're entering the year of the black hare, but the year of the black rooster symbolizes the beginning of school of Neoplaton. And our school in Cameroon has also been founded with me and Anatoly Bakanov in the same year, 1993. In 1993, we founded our school. And now, opposite to this year, black hair as a year symbolizes happiness, the happiness of the foundation of the school of Theosophy, meaning the deep knowledge or the ability to understand the world by a person. The last year was the year of the black tiger, and the black tiger means a person that is able to understand the world around him. And the black hair also symbolizes your means of understanding. So today we're under the ray of space. And space is chaos, basically. Because this space is the primordial potential of information that will be revealed and manifested once it reaches the next element, the next ether. So this is the Akashi principle that makes an absolutely clear mind. And in this clear mind,
this Akasha nature is the unmanifested consciousness in its absoluteness. It's the unique nature of the black hair. The black hair can identify this learning ability within us, and it enables us to understand the existence. Next year is going to be the year of the blue dragon, which is the existence. And the learning is the cause, and it's laid out this year so that we'll be able to understand the essence of the existence, or the dragon. The essence of the dragon is the thought. In other words, we can foresee what cause is going to work, what nidana is going to be in the future. And we can prepare for that if this year we can develop this learning ability. And this learning ability is developed with the help of the pure meditative thought. If we look at the wheel of time, we'll see the three parts. It's the black hair, the black pig, and the black goat. The black goat symbolizes the aspect of the year when Kala Chakra entered the world, and this black goat is responsible for this great wheel. In other words, we learn the laws of the existence, the wheels or the circles of the time. They're reflected in the wheel of time, which is the calendar Shambal of Kala Chakra. And this year, it's the black rooster. Today, it symbolized that the knowledge of the secret doctrine, the knowledge of the plane of the existence, the knowledge of the sequence of all the stanzas of Dhyan and their meaning is part of this circle. Once everything became part of the circle, it became clear how we can apply this knowledge that is given in the secret doctrine. In other words, 30 years are behind us. It's been 30 years since the Theosophy school has been established, and we have come to the moment when we need to review the values. It's the birth of the new human being. It's the revaluation of the values, and it signifies entering the new world, the world of the spiritual knowledge. The consciousness becomes awake because that's what's needed. People start being more responsible regarding how they can use the laws. And these are the laws of fairness. And the ability of accepting and following this law depends on the pure thought. And this day that I represent, I was born in the sector of the blue goat. The blue goat symbolizes the pure thought. And the knowledge about the pure thought, knowing that the pure thought exists, and the origin of that is love, love towards the absolute truth. We can use that to be fair. And then truth is brighter than the sun. It's the cause. And all causes and reasons are manifested by the higher thought. And goats, they live in the mountains, and somehow they don't fall from the mountains, and they can feel free there. And becoming free, making our consciousness free, is related to the black goat. We should choose not the straight path, but the mountainous or a more difficult path. The next week is the week of the red tiger, and it is very significant because this week has the mixture of all four rays, four forces. For what? The power of the creation, of the birth of the spirit, is created by Buddhi, Jupiter, ray, also the ray of Venus and the ray of Saturn. And the mixture of these rays, as 3 falls into 4, is the symbol of human being. Human being is the blue energy, the higher ego is the dark blue color, and Buddhi is the sun or monada, is the manifestation of the monadic principle, the body of Buddha. It is represented in the synthesis of the green energy, the Saturn energy. All these 4 energies, their synthesis creates the birth of the spirit. And just opposite this spirit, the birth of the spirit, we can see the fiery monkey. It's opposite to that, and it is the force or the power of Kundalini Shakti. The birth of the spirit with the energy of Kundalini Shakti can be noticed today. How can we notice it? First of all, the beauty of the spirit is manifested, and it is love, and the love is manifested through beauty. And monkey is the symbol of this synthesis, of this harmony, of this peace, the peaceful attitude within the spirit. But to feel that, we need to awake our consciousness. Then the Kriya Shakti power, the clear thought power, or Kundalini power, also gets awakened, because the pure thought gives the energy, and the energy and the feeling of the beauty. It is the happiness. Tiger is the birth of the spirit, and the birth of the spirit can also manifest the beauty of the spirit. Also, the month is the month of the blue tiger. We can find it under the indigo ray. It is the birth of the individuality, and individuality is our ego, Manasaputra. Manasaputra is the consciousness of the human nature. With the thought of this, with the help of the thought, we can create. That's how the ideas are born, with the ability of thinking. The idea can be expanded with the help of the thought, the birth of new thoughts, of new ideas. It is part of our higher ego. It is primarily manifested when we awaken our consciousness. Then we control the thought, the higher ego, and we get the creative abilities. Just opposite the tiger, we can find the blue monkey. It symbolizes Vasvata Manu. You probably read about the stanzas. Stanza 3, Shloka 1, tells us about Vasvata Manu. It is the Manu, or the essence, that should manifest a particular cycle, particular circle of Manvantara that has the mixture of all the consciousness of human beings, that is related to a particular cycle, to a particular circle that should expand this Manu. You know that there are 14 of Manu. There are 7 planes of consciousness, and each plane of consciousness has 2 Manus, so that there would be the evolutionary flow that symbolize a particular cycle of our consciousness. As a result, we are like ego of Vasvata Manu. With a collective humanity, we get the essence, and we are able to follow the Kamaton, because Manu gives us the sound that we need to be united with, in tune with. And if we're able to do that as the orchestra, all human beings in the world will be able to be in tune with that. Everything is related. If something is missing, we get the chaos, and the opposites reflect each other. But it's possible only when our heart can be opened up. And then our heart transmutates the divine thought, and the transmutation of the thought gives beginning to the transformation of our personal qualities or the human nature. And that's how our form, our bodies are transformed, just like the astral body, which is part of the blue monkey. We transform our body, our astral body, because Manu, just like any Manvantara, just like Manu and Antara, it is between 2 Manus. The Aries epoch that has started its own cycle or circle, it starts building the astral human beings. And we are in the field of these consciousness, or Tian Kogans. These are the feeling consciousness. Thus, the astral body is what they control. And you can see the opposites of the Aries epoch. We can see the Shambhala, the constellation of Leo. And within this constellation, we have the Tian Kogara system. And it's a continuous evolution through the astral bodies. And the time has come, and we have already said that the year of the fiery dog is the year 7, 2007. And since then, the Aries epoch has started. The fiery dog is opposite the fiery dragon, and this fiery dragon symbolizes the Maitreya epoch. And this year was very important. First of all, the fiery dog symbolizes Upadhi, Nidana, which has all the synthesis within itself of all the forces. And this Adi Nidana opens up, and it introduces us into the Aries epoch. Hence, it's very important to be in line with this vibration that follows particular laws.
And at the same time, we have to understand these laws. And of course, we have to correspond to the hierarchy of the indigenous nature. So the century of the white dragon stands for, first of all, wisdom in the ray of Saturn. Synthesis yet again, and this is the male aspect of the century of two Nidanas, the white snake and the white dragon. This is the male aspect, which gives an impulse for synthetical train of thought. And this reflects wisdom, the wisdom of existence. Opposite the dragon, we have the white dog, and the white dog symbolizes uh, perseverance. It also goes in the ray of the moon. So it's a person is also in the state of samsara, of the first waters. And for these waters, for you to take the information out of this primordial waters, the reason of everything, the reason of reason, the white dog has to manifest in this ray, in its creative beginning. And this creativity will make a person very stay strong, and of course to open his heart, will open his intuitive consciousness, his intuitive mind. And dog represents the knowledge of self, when the synthetical mind manifests in the dog in its creativity. So this is the combination we have today. And what I'm going to talk about next is that in this combination, we can see the key points we have to pay attention to. And this is the black rooster. This is the day, because the day has the focus, the synthesis, the idea, the word, and the future manifestations of the universe. This is when we have the reason for unreason, and the rooster represents a certain state, I would say unique state. This is a state that is before Min Parakaya. So you can imagine the Min Parakaya. This is the state of your mind when you have overcome karma. So today's rooster, it affects people in its higher vibrations of its higher logos by making them by making us more disciplined, more fair, because the rooster, as Nidana, is the representation of fairness, the potential of fairness. So he is a potential, and we subconsciously can understand this idea of fairness and try to feel ourselves with it. But it takes a clear mind to do that. So imagine today your clear mind can give you the focus to feel with the centuries, the month, the week, and understand its essence, the essence of all the combinations of Nidanas of today. And for mere seconds we can become the Brahmakaya. So can you imagine if you will be able to enter the state? But you will be able to do that if you have the higher initiative. And there will be no karma. This will be the illusion of the astral plane of reality. So we'll be able to enter the new era by creating a new astral body for ourselves. So all of our astral bodies will begin to transform and mutate into the heart, because you'll be able to hear the rooster only by your heart. There is no other way to hear it. So you'll need to open your heart and let yourself catch this vibration of wisdom. Next, we have the third stanza, first shloka, the last vibration of the seventh eternity flows through infinitude. So we have the question. So it's the last vibration. So did we have the first? So this is the first question you may have. And then the mother swells. It hasn't yet swollen, but it begins to swell, expanding from within without, like the bud of the lotus. So we will talk about and expand these concepts. And now, Evgenia Mikhailovna, I give the floor to you. Thank you very much. Thank you for making us more sure about today and how a person is a divine avatar and he enters in the concentration of Nidana like today. A person can feel this energy of Minpravakaya. And I like this idea so much because uh, in our study of the third stanza, Shloka 1, we have reached the idea that this stanza has all the concentration of all the powers that give impulse to the human evolution. And we know the human evolution isn't just a part, but it's a foundation of the rhythm, when the key parts of this evolutionary chain of the universe, the cosmos and nature, begin to come together and start, and the rhythm starts with the person, because people, whether its orientation towards something, holds this lightning, the lightning that can open all the creative abilities of your body. And this is the state of Minpravakaya, the state of ideal light. So this is how I understood that. So thank you very much again. It was an interesting Nidana, an interesting story. I would also like to thank our interpreters that will help us share with you this mystery of unspoken words and concepts and make them reach your hearts. We hope that in this united system we'll be able to understand the inner thought, and our interpreters, of course, will help us do that and convey these words that I hope will unite and bring together the collective idea and its innate energy and make it clear to all of our listeners. So today we have Ksenia Persova and Polina Romancheva. Thank you very much for your hard work and your open hearts. Show your trust to the study, because otherwise the study is impossible without this understanding. So thank you very much. I will focus on some key points, and I wish you to be able to concentrate on your inner thoughts, to have this chain of thought dissected and systematized. So we have a clear understanding of the tasks and the conditions of form, of unforms, concepts, ideas, symbolism, all in the third stanza, Shloka 1. Stanza third is the basis of the whole secret doctrine. So I wish you luck. The last vibration of the seventh eternity thrills through infinitude. The mother swells, expanding from within without, like the bud of the lotus. So, of course, this stanza, it's like a mantra. The sound of those words completes and brings together the first phrase or the first sentence. We can talk over through the whole 7 infinitudes, and their meanings will be different each time. And the shine of this mystery will always show us something new. Of course, the first question that we may have is, of course, what is the vibration of eternity? And how many of them were there if the last tremor occurs during this period? So let's talk about what is the vibration. So vibration is a creative breath in nature, and the vibration of trembling or unmanifested breath or invisible veils, because invisible veils are the mystical root of all matter and the universe. The veils, what are the veils? Are moments of undifferentiated cosmic matter. And it's not matter as it is, but the veils are the spiritual essence of matter. And the root of nature is the source of the subtlest invisible properties, invisible matter. It is the soul of the one and infinite spirit. So we can say that this root and the space where it's found is Malaprakriti, and Malaprakriti is the primordial substance that is the basis, Upadhi, or vehicle of every phenomenon, physical, mental, or mental. And this is the source from which radiates Akasha. In occult philosophy, it is divided into several categories, and HPB also mentioned that they are divided into 7 spheres. The first is the sphere of hidden consciousness, as HPB writes, that coexists with the first and second unmanifested logos. And this is the state we can describe in the Evangelion by Ivan, the Gospel of John. The light shines in the darkness, and the darkness did not embrace him. So when the hour of manifestation of the third logos strikes, then a lower region of differentiated consciousness radiates from the latent potentiality. And then this latent potentiality, the lower region of differentiated consciousness, is Mahat, or also called the set or the totality of those Tian Kogans of intelligent feeling life, whose representative on the objective plane is Fahat, and on subjective is Manasaputra.
We're able to see the Mahat, the objective plane, where the Thiat Kogans are located, and where the Fahat is in Manasaputras. And we can say that we can also talk about the astral light. The astral light is what reflects the 3 higher planes of consciousness and is above the lower or earthly plane. It is in blue, and it is the plane of the spirits. And as I said, it's above the earthly plane. Therefore, it does not extend above the 4th plane, where Akasha can be said to begin. But between the astral light and Akasha, there is a difference. Akasha is eternal, but the astral light is of periodic nature. The astral light changes not only with each Manvantara, but also with each sub-period and planetary cycle or circle. And this information is unique because if we study or delve into the astral light, and by doing so connected with Akasha, And if we look at all the periods, at all the steps, we can see that it has the changes not only in Mahamanvantara, but in each sub-period, in each circle, we can see these changes. These periods are really big, and the nature is really unique. What is Akasha? Akasha is an eternal divine consciousness. According to Blavatsky, it cannot differentiate, it cannot have qualities or be active. Activity is inherent in what is mirrored from it. The main idea is that it's eternal and it cannot be related to something that can be ended. And the unconditioned and infinite cannot have a connection with the finite and conditioned. Chidakasam is the sphere of the original consciousness. It is the Egyptian word that was used to talk about God. Chidakasam, the Egyptians used this word to invoke the great god of mystery, Amon or Amas, the hidden god, so that he would manifest himself to them. And the hidden god will remain hidden forever, Chidakasam. And Chidakasam enables us to uncover this idea. And it's interesting to have a look at this word, because this notion, Chidakasam, does not exist in other materials, but we can have a look at the reason why Blavatsky gives us this explanation. Kasam is the Sanskrit word notion that means oath. That is saying the oath. Asamkhya is innumerable, and Akasista means to be visible, to appear. This is part of the Chidakasam word. So we can say or assume that the state of space in this period created itself. It was not created by forces. It was created by countless, incalculable forces, and it appeared for a moment at the moment of the first shloka of the last vibration, and then disappeared again. And at this moment, a great oath was pronounced to itself or to the monad, and it will forever remain a hidden monad, and only its light will periodically have a reflection. So this is the discovery regarding the moment of the creation with the help of incalculable forces. This is a shloka about the last vibration of the eternity. Kipling in Mowgli book gives us the name Ka. The snake freed Mowgli, and after that the wise Ka became the third teacher of the young man. And it was he who helped him find a dagger for a deal with Sher Khan. The third is the fifth, Manas, a dagger that cuts off the influence of Manas, the serpent of Ka, the serpent of reason and wisdom. So we can see this comparison in the context of stanza 3, shloka 1. Intuitively, we can see that such great authors as Rudyard Kipling could uncover esoterism of the internal meaning of the characters, but also part of this great mystery. They're also shown in it, and everyone knows it just by reading this book. A more precise pronunciation of Chidakasam is Chidakasam. And then it becomes clear why this concept is the place of the kingdom of Akasha. It is the power of reason, and this activity will be a mirror image of the place of Chidakasam or Chidakasha. Both Akasha and cosmos are noumenon, and they have no touch with the causal relations of the phenomenal world. And if the vibration is the pulsation of eternity, which is the state of Upadhi, that is collected before the beginning of its factor or property. And here I'd like to make a pause because this phrase has a very deep meaning, or it means that the pulsation of eternity is the state of Upadhi. And it's amazing that it is collected before the beginning of its factor or its property, and it begins to meet its purpose. And what is the purpose? The purpose of eternity is in the pulsation itself, and pulsation is the beginning of the revival of all the factors and properties. The pulsation of eternity, and it is a response to this condition, the pulse of the human heart, as the purpose of life, of all the properties inherent in the human body. So this is the connection of the eternity and the human being. Also, Mula Prakriti also has this pulsation. It is the foundation of Upadhi, and it reveals the veils of the cosmos. And it has no touch with the causal relationships of the phenomenal world. And Blavatsky tells us about it in her comments. So the key point is the following. The veils are the thrill of creative breathing, which, when the time comes, will become movement, and differentiation will begin, and that is, matter will unfold from the inside out. The vibration of the seventh eternity determines the numerical value. Xian gives us 7. Vibration and eternity are a single component of number 7, 7 eternities and 7 vibrations, and every sevenfold vibration is eternity. Before the differentiation began, there had been 7 of them. There are 7 states of the unmanifested universe, and we're trying to show to you right now where the 7 states of the unmanifested universe are. These are 3 planes of the non-forms, and later those 7 states will manifest as 7 states of the manifested universe. The 7 states of the unmanifested universe become the 7 states of the manifested universe. And all of them are sevenfold, the 7 vibrations of each eternity. So there are 7 eternities in total. It means that there are 49 vibrations as well as 49 manifested lights, which in essence reveal the creative potential of the divine person. And here we can see the 49 fires, or the states of eternity, and the 49 fires of the divine person. So the key point is the following. The cycle corresponding to the description of the 3rd stanza of the 1st shloka corresponds to the last 7th vibration of the 7th eternity, and that is the potential 49th fire. Shloka 1, stanza 3, 3 plus 1 equals 4, 49 lights is 4 plus 9 equals 13 equals 4. So we have 4 and 4. So we have looked at these numbers. So let's have a look at this symbol. 4 is the plane of prototypes. There is Mula Prakriti, Akasha radiates from there, and the last vibration of the 7th creates the first form of the unform. It is the 4th internal state of matter, which preserves the first 3, or monad, or manas. 3 falls into 4, and we know that 3 unmanifested planes concentrate in the form of a circle with the red triangle. These are the 3 that are preserved by the 4 plane of prototypes. So let's look at the state of space in this phase of the structure, namely the 4th state. And Elena Roerich says that the 4th globe, the sphere, in contrast to others, does not have a fellow globe on the same plane as itself, and thus it forms a fulcrum of the equilibrium of the entire chain. So let's have a look at how it works. The courtroom is the Earth. This is the sphere of the final evolutionary adjustment of the measures of cosmic scales, in the courtroom, where an equilibrium is established that determines the future direction of the monad throughout its remaining incarnations in the cycle. And this is the reason why, after the central turning point has been passed in the great cycle, and after the middle point of the 4th race, in the 4th circle on our globe, no monad can enter the human kingdom anymore. The door is locked for this cycle and the balance is established. In accordance with this idea, we can also have a look at 4 seasons of the year. What is a cross? We have 4 points, 4 directions, or 4 states. Everything starts with spring. Spring as the point of the cross equals morning, adolescence, the element is fire, and the direction is east. It is followed by summer. It's another season of the year, and it means noon, symbolizes youth, the element is air, and the direction part of the world is south. The third point is autumn. It's evening, maturity in the human nature. The element is water, and the part of the world is west. And finally, earth, the 4th point of the cross, or rather, it's winter, it's old age, it's night, and north. Circle, if we draw a circle around this cross, we'll be able to see how this idea is really logical. So it's morning, day, evening, night, sunrise, noon, maturity, old age, east, south, west, and north, and so forth. Once we were able to do that, we were able to have a look at the 4 chambers of consciousness and the cross of life. And there are 4 points. Again, it's birth, life, death, and immortality. We can see one circle. There was the separation by the cross. Thus, we have 4 main directions or chambers or parts. These points of the cross made it possible for us to see the major points: the birth, life, immortality, and death. And Christians use 3 fingers. At first, they are born, then the lower nature becomes dead, then the hand goes to the left, it's life, and then to the right, to the immortality. This is the meaning of this cross. And Christians use it when they pray. When human beings are born, they are in the ignorant state, then they move to the chamber of knowledge, then they move to the chamber of wisdom, and finally, in the 4th point, they move on to the omniscience. If we look at the scheme of the 4 globes, we'll be able to see that it looks just like a cup. The central point does not have any counterpart. It looks like a bowl. Let's have a look at this bowl. So we have 3 globes, which is the cause. They fall into the central one. Then we have the consequence. And it also collects the fourth. So we have first 3, the second 3, and as a result, we have the concentration. The sum of the fellow globes is the following. At first, we have the sum of 2, then 4, and then we have 6, and then as a result, we have the sum. It's 12. We have the fourth, the 4 globes. It is the causal relationship. It is Kala Chakra or 12 Nidanas. That is how we have the sum of 12. It is the 12 Nidanas. So let's move on. The bowl, or all centers or spheres, they're concentrated in the center. This is the bowl or the consciousness of a person. And it turns out that man is a fellow of the 4th globe or sphere, or the 7-fold bowl or cosmic scales. When the central point of the 4th globe has no counterpart, in reality it has the counterpart, and that's the man. The bowl is the center of all radiations. According to teachers, the bowl is the source of creativity, of psychic energy that embodies creative ideas. And higher beings create with the help of this psychic energy. And the power of that is based on the ignition of the fires of the heart. The symbol of the human beings is this 5-point star that falls into the 7-fold, into the bowl that we looked at the previous page of the presentation. It is the sum of 12. It's the heart, it's the 3. The bowl is the center of the best spiritual accumulations. The bowl is the guardian of trust. The bowl is a synthetic center that stores the most important accumulations. What are the most important accumulations? These are the unspeakable accumulations. The bowl is the focus where the grains of the spirit are refracted and spread through it. And the bowl within a human being forms a triangle. And the teachers tell about that. It is between the center of the heart and the solar plexus. The bowl was called the Celestial Axis in the most ancient writings, and the solar plexus, or Manipura chakra, the third, there are 3 chakras, was also identified with a bowl or the celestial axis. This is the Sahasrara center. These are 7 chakras mixed together. This is the place, the Sahasrara, this is the place where 2 opposite energies unite, the material, Shakti, and the divine Shiva. In other words, it is the place where consciousness slumbers and where the awakened Kundalini aspires. So this is one of the major points that we wanted to tell you about. And this is where the Kundalini aspires, and before joining, both energies undergo a process of purification and the transformation. At the point of the union of the 2 opposites, an energy explosion occurs, which gives enlightenment. The slumbering consciousness, ancient consciousness, after this explosion, it becomes enlightened. And the center, the Sahasrara center, is credited with 666 petals. It's a very interesting calculation. Let's have a look at the
6
sum.
plus 6 plus 6 gives 18, which means 9. And therefore, with 666, we get 216, we chose so has 8 and 1 in it. In the first meaning, this sum 1 plus 8 gives us 9, and then 216. The 1 is in the center, this is 8 and 1, and we once again have 9. So this is the Trinity of the higher world. So keep in mind these calculations. 8, 1, 9, and the triple trinity of the higher world, because later we will talk about this more precisely. So if we're talking about the awakening of a person, and awakening is a duty you have before the higher world. So therefore, when accumulations are awakened from the ball, a connection is made with the higher world, and the person becomes this heavenly axis. So look, 1, 2, 3, and on the other side, 1, 2, 3 is 4. But if we take 4 and 4 connected together in the circle that is divided by this heavenly axis, we get 8. And this axis means 1. You see? And yet again, 1 means the heavenly axis and 8 is the ball. All of this is the inner essence of awakening, the triple trinity of the higher world. So the inner essence of Fahad, creative power, because number 9 is the triple trinity of the higher world. And this is the geometry and numbers of the symbols we have. The ball is the source. They can shorten the intervals of physical time. And it's an interesting concept because teachers tell whoever shortens the intervals of physical time will advance. And see how this can happen when this heavenly axis starts its momental exit from the connection with the heavenly. So if a person connects the past and the present in this axis, he will shorten the intervals of physical time and then advances with his momental powers or his awakened mind from the ball of accumulation. So this is the center where everything is accumulated. So the key point here is the last vibration of the 7 frills in infinitude and establishes the concentration a potential ball of accumulation which is self-existent. Therefore, its possibilities are unlimited because this ball is connected by the heavenly axis with the triple trinity of the heavenly world. And this tremor was still trembling in infinity. And if infinity is space, then this space beyond dimensions, in every sense, is self-existent. So the ball is the infinite space that reveals this category of self-existence. That's why it has no limits. And what does this mean, this infinitude? The essence itself is spirit, that meaning the space itself, represented by a single essence of spirit, in which the root is matter. The mother swells, spreading like a lotus bud from the inside out. You can see this. So this state of mother swelling is a process. So swelling didn't occur instantly. If the seventh eternity and the seventh veil here, then accordingly this is the seventh state of swelling at which the propagation happens. So we can say that this spread is the last vibration. And this last vibration is when the spread, the swelling happens. And it was the mother who filled or who will be filled, or when the seventh fell, the seventh vibration, seventh impulse, or seventh pulse. You see how this is quite similar. They all will give the first movement that will unfold from the inside out, like a lotus bud. which meant that the lotus opens gradually, and an open lotus symbolizes the open consciousness of a person. And it is a connection we are talking about today. So this the hidden mother will become manifested and will have the ability to create and give birth. But how? She will give birth to 7 sons or 7 builders of the universe who will begin to build worlds with their race. The creation will happen and there will be 7 of them, and then we'll have the birth of nature. So the seventh eternity divides duration and space in unconditional and conditional time. Unconditional time is universal time, kala, the nomenon of infinite time, and conditional time is khanda kala, is it's a phenomenon, and it's a periodic, a consequence of mahat. So conditional time is periodic because it's the consequence of mahat, the universal mind limited by the duration of manvantara. So the universal mind in the grand cycle has its limit. Can you imagine? The consequence of Mahat is conditional time, so conditional time has an end, like the period of Manvantara that begins and ends. This is the action of the universal mind, and this revealing, unfolding is the process of changing a state before the differentiation, the Manvantara. What is Manvantara? So we have looked at how this unfolds as a place of existence. We have different symbols, and then it unfolds and shows us a different state of mind that exists in the same space. So what is Manvantara? Manvantara is between two Manu. So if we have a circle and divide it in half, so we define the state between two Manus. So we'll have a ray between the circle. We have divided this circle, and this state of being in between shows us that there is left and right, and within this united space we have 7, 2 septenaries that give 14 in sum, and 14 in sum is 5. So between the two 7 we have a rate, or as the fifth state, the fifth principle, mind. That is between the two Manu, there is mind, which is the factor that divides the duration into conditional and unconditional time, since it manifests the state by itself. The secret revealed in this way is the key point we are going to focus our attention at this now. So the mother, who is still swollen, is preparing to overthrow the mind, the reasonable force in nature, and it will unfold from inside out. And this ray will be light, or mind, or the son of mind. And Manu comes from mind's idea, that esoteric ideas give us that divine Manu is personifies the human pattern of the circle, personalization of the divine thought. And Manvantara, or two Manus, there are 14 in each day of Brahma, and a single day consists of 1000 aggregates of 4 centuries. So how Helena Petrovna looks at this totality of centuries. So 14 Manu, each contains Brahma. So 1000 totalities or aggregates is a union that descends to the densest state and divides it. How does it look? So descent of 1, 2, 3, 4. Here we have our 1. There's 3 zeros, 3 worlds of densification or differentiation. 0, or the fourth, is divided by 1. 1 and 0, 4 worlds, the zeros, 14 worlds in a trinity of 14 Manus or Manvantara. 1000 aggregates of 4 centuries. The 4th century is the first form of differentiation, as you can see. 14,000 or 14 Manu or Manvantara. So this is a stream of globes that we have already looked at. Fahad fulfills the instructions of Manu or Dhyani Kogans and encourages ideal prototypes to unfold from within, so gradually go through the descent in school of fall planes from noumens to phenomena, in order to finally blossom on the latter into full objectivity, to the highest degree of illusion, or the grossest matter. So how does this happen according to the planes of existence? The seventh vibration refers to both the first and the manifested logos. So the first lies beyond space and time, while the second, time doesn't exist. So these higher planes are the planes of the spirit and three unmanifested logos, the third of which is the potentially of an undetected cause. The first unmanifested, the absolute and abstract space that will become a mother given birth. The second unmanifested is duration, which will become time. And the first is the great breath that will become movement. Now let's look at the manifested. First is latent world of thought. The second manifested is the word made flesh, the flesh of demiurge, active will. And the third is the form of our world. So the lotus bud exists not only just as a miniature germinate seed, a physical feature, but its prototype exists in an ideal form in the astral light or from dawn to night throughout the Manvantara. As matter unfolds from inside out, so humans are born from inside out in their seven bodies. How does this happen? The upper triad of immortality. 7 pure spirit Atman, 6 spiritual soul Buddhi, 5 manas the plastic mediator of manas is a reasonable mediator between the higher triad and the lower quaternary, the lower for karma, the basis of passions and desires, 3 the solar life principle of prana, 2 the image of a person, the astral body or linga sharira, and 1 is the image of the creators of the physical body, shtula sharira. So we have 7 bodies, each that is a part of consciousness or gates, which have their own keys to open the doors leading to a single consciousness. This is an interesting thought I would like to accentuate in the context of what HPB was talking about, because these gates and the keys we have from these gates can open the doors. So each gate has a golden key, as the HPB mentions. What are these keys and how do they correspond to the bodies of human consciousness? First, Dana is the key of mercy and immortal love. So Shila is the key of harmony between word and deed and balances cause and effect so that all the reasons for the action of karma are destroyed. Third is Kshanti, gentle patience, unperturbed by anything. Fourth, Vairagya, indifference to pleasure and suffering, a defeated illusion, and only one visible truth. 5. Virya, an invincible energy that makes its way from the pool of earthly lies to the heavenly truth. 6 is Dhyana, golden door, once opened, leads to sinless kingdom of the Absolute and its unceasing contemplation. And 7 is Prajna, the key to which will lead a person to being godlike, creating from him Bodhisattva, or the son of the luminous. These are the golden keys that unlock the gates, and there are 7 of them, or 7 paths, or 7 eternities. So this is a new understanding we have of the 7 eternities. The identity with the first shloka and the third stanza, 3 plus 1 equals 4, the last vibration of the seventh eternity indicates the form 4, state of the first 3, and the form is ready to manifest in 7 eternities as the last tremor. So 3 stanzas, the first unmanifested logos, but first shloka is the first manifested logos. So this is the transformation. On the fourth plane, the plane of prototypes, there is a phenomenon of the great mystery when the third unmanifested logos becomes first manifested. That is the unfolded, not being an increase in size. It is only a change in state when the three becomes one. And there is four. This is the prototype of seven. Is there assembled and ready to manifest from the inside out, like a lotus bud. That was a key point. The last vibration of the seventh eternity thrills throughout infinitude. The matter swells, expanded from within without, like the bud of the lotus. This means what? This is a description of the state of space. The last seventh vibration before differentiation. The last vibration gathers into a potential form all the centers, forces, radiations, and all the great and supreme, which are the seventh state, will be revealed in the cosmos, seven builders. In all the kingdoms of nature, the elemental, mineral, vegetal, or animal kingdoms, and in people, it will be as the focus of the ball of accumulations for all incarnations. Conclusion. During differentiation or the beginning of evolution, it is the state of the seventh last vibration or frill that will give the forces of advancement, penetration, the power of creative ideas, opportunities, abilities, and inspiration to all planes of existence and all qualities of consciousness, the potential to merge with the One or become immortal.
Спасибо.
Thank you so much. So this is the research with the key points made of the third stanza, Sloka 1, that collects all the forces that give us not only the trust, the belief, and the power, it also gives the impetus that concentrates and connects the pulsation of the human being and of the universe, that gives us the possibility to make everything possible. And the science does not open up that idea because it denies the internal force of the internal human being, the internal divine force. But what do the occultists know? What makes them different? They know that these divine powers exist within human beings, and they say that the divine power of human beings can make us endless. And thank you so much for hearing us, for listening to us. And we have received a number of questions, and we are eager to answer them. Dear friends, we've received the question. The last vibration was created as a result of the law, but what makes the matter change? Vladimir Vasilyevich, I give the floor. What makes the matter change? The matter itself, I would say, is unchangeable. We change in comparison regarding those matters. Our consciousness changes according to evolution, in accordance with the spirit. But differentiation enables us to get closer to the synthesis, to awaken the consciousness. And that's how we can be in line with any plane of existence. Thank you. Also, what makes the matter or the mother change, and what causes these changes? I'd like to point out this connection that we can determine here regarding this knowledge. Knowledge can change the human itself, the internal nature of human beings, and also it can change the density of the matter. Human beings become more subtle. They come closer to the astral world. And with these abilities, just like fish can swim natural in the water, just as naturally human beings can open up these abilities, and this changes the consciousness, and the energy becomes more plastic. It gets more plasticity, so to say. And they say that each human being, when they feel natural within this force that is close to the divine force, it's like tuning the violin, and we become in tune with the color, with the sound, in order to find the divine tune. And the divine forces that can open up this potentiality, they identify the divine harmony, and the divine harmony is formed in the matter, and that is why, as a result, everything is divine. Another question that we've received: everything has its ideal prototype. So it means that human beings have the perfect, the ideal prototype. How can a human being, a regular human being, feel this prototype to get to know where they should be going to, in what direction they should be going to? Well, everything starts when you're at your lowest point. The consciousness of the weak mind, human beings can have the thoughts of the suicide. It's where they're at the lowest point. But also human beings find the ability, the powers, the force to learn what is on the other side, what is bigger than them, and that's how they can increase their force, their power, because they can realize that they cannot live the way that they lived before, when they lived the way that it led them to the lowest point. And I think everyone dreams of happiness. Everyone dreams of finding happiness in their life, of finding happiness in people around them. And this thought, this idea, what kind of happiness determines the ideal prototype that enables us to move on to this perfect happiness. Everyone finds their lowest point, after which they can move on towards something better. And this psychic energy is the energy that is given to human beings. This is the basic energy, the fiery energy that is given to people. It is the psychic energy, but we understand that it is the initial fiery force. And this force gives human beings the path towards happiness, towards the future. And this is the third path that is in line with the third Sloka that we're discussing. This is the third entrance. This is the plane that determines the manifested logos. This is the essence of this higher path. This prototype gives way to the future happiness, and human beings, they strive towards that happiness. This is another explanation, point of view that can be expressed here. Another question: if Akasha is eternal and the astral light is of periodic nature, then what are the periods of their manifestation? Vladimir, I give you the floor. Manvantara, circles and races. Within these circles, the astral light changes in accordance with the necessity and with the law itself. When the new circle starts, the new Manu appears, and it opens up the whole system or program of the particular circle. And Blavatsky says about the astral light that these are the endless cycles, starting with Mahamanvantara and so on. The periods of the manifestation are huge, and we have received a question from the chat. I'd like to read it out. Hello, it's very important to study and to explain the works of Blavatsky, and I don't argue with that. But to me, it seems that the world is falling into the abyss, and probably we can find the essence in the work of Blavatsky. We can probably explain it in simpler words so that regular people will see the truth and find the force to be on the side of the good side. And probably that is what I was saying. The good side is a relative notion, and there is the law of relativity. If you have fears, if you have worries and concerns, all of them are also relative in comparison with something. Right now, my spirit is like Chidakasam. It is full with the original prototype image and the program of Maya that is spread in the form of samsara, within which we are running like a squirrel in a circle. It is the pahat or pahtaya. It is the consciousness of humanity. And as a result, in this world, when you're on the side of those who are at war, this fight becomes divine, and the notion of the divinity appears when we are clear in our consciousness. When we have the clear consciousness, we can see that what is happening in the world is for the quality of life. There's a lot of dirt, there's a lot of lying, and that's what the fight is against. And what is this fight for? Those who enter this fight, they make the choice in their heart. Those who are able to open up their heart, for them, happiness exists now. The happiness of fighting, of being part in this fight between the light and the darkness. But only when you see it, you can become happy. And this is the year of the learning process, of the learning ability of knowledge. This year, we can understand what is happening in this world, in the material and in the astral world, in the subtle world. And this idea in this chat that you said that we need to explain everything in simpler words, and this knowledge becomes simpler when you go through the highest tension, when human beings can reach this simple idea, but you need to start with the complicated things, such as Secret Doctrine. You should study it. Alone, and I think it's the wrong path to give sacred, great knowledge in simpler forms, in simpler words, so that this knowledge would become accessible. The first volume of Secret Doctrine is these are the planes. The first three stanzas are unmanifested planes of existence. You cannot talk about them. You can understand them only with your own intuition. You cannot make the intuition of another person work. You can only share your feeling, your understanding that you're not alone, your understanding that human beings are part of the chain, that the idea that human beings have this divine forces within themselves, and the science denies it, and Blavatsky explains it. And also I'd like to add that human beings, first of all, need to learn to think, and that's I can tell you the truth in simple words, but it will be nothing, because human beings won't be able to feel this truth, feel this justice of this law, the laws of the universe, of the nature. They won't be able to feel it if I explain it in simpler words. And in further webinars, we'll answer other questions. And I also see that in the chat we're receiving the personal questions. We'll be in touch. We'll answer questions. Also, we've received the question: if you're talking about the shortening of the intervals of time, does it mean that the machine of time is real? The machine of time is the potentiality of the consciousness of human beings. How can we get out of the samsara? Samsara is the principle of time, and we are within this illusion, so that we'll enter the eternity, the timeless space. We should focus our attention so that each moment of our life will be lived consciously. That will enable us to get rid of the pressure of time. It will enable us to go hand in hand with time, or will be within the flow. This notion of shortening the intervals of time gets us to the question: what is time? Time is a thought. How much time do you need to think of an image, of having a thought of the future, of the past, of the present? Thought does not take time, and the speed of thought does not exist. Thought is timeless. And also there is another gradation or classification. We talked about this today. There is a notion, it's the Bahat consciousness, or the creative force. This thought can be everywhere. It can appear at any point of time. It's endless, and it can exist in various periods of time. Once a human being is in the Bahat state of consciousness, human beings can exist in any period of time, and the knowledge of this is related to the individuality of human beings. Also, we've received another question: is it possible to become immortal on Earth? Not only on Earth. If we're talking about the vibration in the context of Sloka 1, stanza 3, if we're talking about the last vibration, it's the gate, it's the divine access. And also we said that we talked about the fact that human beings become immortal, and this vibration is very close to the aura of human beings. And this aura also has the vibration. The vibration of the aura tells us that this is the entrance into the consciousness. You enter the consciousness, and it means that you are conscious, and Once you become conscious and your aura got the light in these sevenfold spaces, it means that this vibration gives life to the entrance of the consciousness, and this vibration makes this creation immortal. And another question is related to the bowl. This attention to the bowl means that this bowl existed before the differentiation, because the last vibration is before the differentiation. But how did the causes, how were the causes created? Everything starts with a causeless cause. Then the cause, the original, the initial cause, is created, and after that we have all other causes, and it is related to the higher planes of existence. All of them are synthesized and collected in the fourth plane, the plane of prototypes. It is the change of the non-forms. 3 fall into 4, according to Blavatsky. And what does it mean? What is it? It is monada. And monada, it is the grain of the spirit in human beings. And this grain of spirit is the essence, the cause of everything. It is where the causeless cause is located that frees human beings. It is the original cause, the understanding of the meaning of the causeless cause, and finally, the cause of human beings as consciousness. And all that is the triad, but the essence is the monadic nature. And it's no coincidence that they say that consciousness is the place where all the worlds meet. What is this place? It is the cause, the great cause, or the consciousness that is this cause. It is the place of the meeting where all the worlds meet. And also, there's another question. Nidanas are potentially the cause and effect connection, and you showed it on the fourth globe. Is it Kala Chakra? If we look at what created Nidanas, we'll get back to the notion of consciousness. And Theosophy talks only about the consciousness, about its development. And consciousness is human being, whether it's Admon, the divine human being, the Christ, Buddha, all that is the same. The most important thing is the development of consciousness. Once the consciousness appeared, the cause and effect connection was created by human beings according to the illusion. And this is the cause and effect connection within which we live our lives. And the first wheel for human beings consists of 12 nidanas. This is the samsara which we should leave, get out of in our individual development. We all need to get out of this samsara. This is Hinayana. And also there is Mahayana. It's when you got out of this samsara. So we get out from one illusion to get into another illusion. And nidanas of the fourth plane, the plane of prototypes, are reflected in the plane of creativity and consciousness. It's the idea of the law. And the idea of the law is opposite to our samsara. Samsara is the cause and effect, 12 nidanas, and they go through the 5 elements or the state of the matter. And as for the Kala Chakra, why did we define the 4th globe and the 12 nidanas and the bowl and all those numerals? Blavatsky said that This is the Graal bowl, and it's always sent to us before the beginning of the new era, where the Kala Chakra teaching is going to be. The Graal is always sent to the place where the new era starts, and it was sent by air to Buddha, and it's 12,000 years before the birth of Christ, and then it turned into Shambhala, and it will appear again before Mohanatreya, and the study of Kala Chakra will be confirmed by the appearance of this bowl. So this is the opening of the cycles. And also we've received a question, the Vairagya state. Is it nirvana or is it another state? It is not nirvana, it's just a state of consciousness when human beings got rid of karma and became nirmanakana according to esoteric philosophy. The occult science says that this is the state of human beings who denied, who refused rather nirvana, in order to be always connected with humanity and to lead humanity towards freedom. This is the state of the great sacrifice, and this is the empathic state. And Rorik, by the way, when she destroyed her lower astral body, she was always supported on Earth, because in this state, when there is no karma, you live on the Earth in the state of the eternal empathy, and you need this body that will enable you to stay on the Earth. And her body has been burned several times, and she was given the new one all the time to remain on the Earth, to stay on the Earth. It's Vairagya state that we talked about today. Yes, thank you so much. It was a very interesting explanation of the state. Dear friends, at the very end, with the help of your questions and our answers, we summed up our work, and we've created the necessary tension that enables us to see our own understanding, to form our own understanding, and to find this divine thought. And we were able to see the significance of the third shloka. The meaning is that human beings are the source of the knowledge, because we can manifest all the cosmic knowledge in the life, and we are part of this chain. We talked about the nature, the radiation of the nature of the cosmos, and how it reflects the bodies of human beings, because these are all the existing rays and types of radiation, and human radiation is the highest, the most important one. And it means that we have more responsibility for what kind of radiation you create, because this radiation, they overcome all other existing radiation in the world. Human beings thus should be responsible for the thoughts that are timeless, that overcome all kinds of speed. And this is the time when human beings can make these thoughts come to life. We have the human beings can form all the ideas that are created by the egregor. So this is the connection, and Most importantly, why those radiations are the way they are, human beings can reach the state that Vladimir has been talking right now. And all that is the foundation of the heart that is not covered by anything else but love. And this is the connection of us with the higher forces. So let's make our hearts covered only with love, so that we'll be able to reach the higher forces at any point of time, to do a kind deed, to help ourselves, our friends, people that we know and that we don't know, and do it easily and naturally. So these are the thoughts that were formed today, based on the study of the third stanza. Thank you so much to our interpreters today, to Ksenia and Paulina, who worked with us today. Thank you so much to the technical support, to Alexander Kuleshov, to Maxim Yegorov, to Alexander Brezhnev, and Yuri Butin, who helped us to stay online, who helped us to reconnect with you. And thank you, dear listeners, who stayed with us regardless of this technical glitch when we lost the internet connection. And thank you so much for working with us today and for staying with us today. And this and us being united enables us to create this image of the thought that is imprinted in our mind, that is beautiful and that is part of the higher harmony and beauty, which is the highest beauty. We're wrapping up the seminar. Thank you so much for being with us, and would like to invite you in March. On the 25th of March, we'll have the International Scientific Seminar. We'll continue with our studies. You'll be able to listen to the international speakers, and also we'll present our new thoughts, our new presentations that will enable us to continue the study of the third stanza. And also I'd like to say that in 2023, soon we'll hold the International Theosophic Congress that will take place in the city of Moscow. Moscow will open up its doors to all its guests, and we invite all of you to attend this event. It will be in November, at the end of November. Let's stay in touch. See you next time.
Всего доброго. Спасибо. Спасибо. До свидания. До свидания.
Thank you so much.
The Secret Doctrine by Blavatsky. Dedicated to all true Theosophists. Book of the Third Millennium.
Blavatsky, only new.